And here we are once again on Cricbuzz Chatter, just a little ahead of the much talked about pink ball test match at what I believe is the magnificent new stadium in Motera. Just rises like a giant saucer, can take 110. They're expecting huge crowds, even though, because 50% means a lot of people as well. But the focus will still be on the cricket, will still be on the surface, will still be on the ball, will still be on the conditions. Michael Vaughan joins me as well. Now, the interesting thing, Michael, is that neither India nor England have played such a lot of pink ball test cricket. I think England have played 3, haven't they? And in India have played just 2, one in Australia, one in Kolkata.
Yeah, absolutely. England have lost 2-1-1. India are 1-1. So not a great deal of experience for both teams. I have to say the ground, I haven't been there, but I've seen plenty of videos from the England players this week on social media and also the Indian players. It looks magnificent. It looks a ground that I think over the years we'll be talking about a huge amount. I mean, obviously you've got Eden Gardens that has a huge capacity over there in India. I think this ground's going to be talked of similarly over the years because of the crowds and the atmospheres that it's going to be creating. I guess it all comes down to the pitch. It comes down to the ball. Again, messages from the England team that they've been delighted that the pink ball has been doing plenty in practice. They've even had to use older pink balls because maybe 1 or 2 batsmen started to complain it was doing too much and they were ruining their confidence. But England, I believe they've got a sniff this week because obviously the ball change, the lights will be on. The dew may play quite a big factor, particularly in the last session. England have somehow got to try and start the game well. If they start well, I think they'll get those memories back from the first test quite quickly. If they start badly, the memories of the second test will come back quite quickly. So that first day is going to be crucial for the England side. Okay,
we'll go through all the variables first. Rohit Sharma said a couple of days ago, why are we talking so much about the surface? Talk about the performances on it. And Michael, I notice you agree. But in the build-up, for people watching this program, we've got to tell them a little bit about the surface. There's 11 pitches on the square. I think there's some red and some black soil as you normally see. What we're told is that it'll be hard, that if there's enough grass on it, it'll seam a lot. If there's less grass, it'll turn a lot. Either way, there's movement, but it all depends on how much grass. Now, Michael, in Kolkata, they left 6 millimeters of grass on. I think that used to be the norm, 6 millimeters of grass. Word is here, and we'll have to wait and see till it's actually exposed in the morning of the game, that there will be lesser grass than that, in which case it will turn. And Rohit Sharma alluded to that by saying we are preparing for this the way we prepared for the Chennai test.
Yeah, and India would be silly not to prepare a wicket that's going to spin. I mean, India have better skilled players against the spinning ball, and they have better spinners than England. So that's why he was absolutely right to say that home advantage is important. You know, all conditions around the world change, and the home team has it in their right to produce whatever they wish. That's absolutely fine. So I would expect the ball to be spinning. I'd be amazed if over the course of the next couple of days the grass is allowed to grow beyond that 6 millimeters. I think it'll be cut right down. And England would be silly to prepare for anything other than that second test match that they saw in Chennai, because they got absolutely hammered because India were better skilled, just played better. So why would India want to go back to potentially what happened in the first game where it's flat for a day or so? Or, why would you want a pitch where you win the toss, you bat, and then all of a sudden the lights come on and it zips all over the place? That would favour the England team. So home advantage is obviously very important. And when you 1-1 in a series with 2 to play, I'd be staggered if the ball isn't spinning from ball 1.
And it's a slightly different beast, isn't it? This pink ball. Now, this lovely red cherry that we've been used to seeing all these years, it's leather that's been dyed, and so you can keep on polishing it. I guess like you polish your shoes, you can keep polishing it. This one's got more pigment and lacquer on it. And I believe the SG ball has a little more lacquer on it than does the pink Kookaburra ball. So what we saw in Kolkata in that one test match, and to be honest, Bangladesh won at their best in that test match, that the ball was seeming to come through the air quicker and was therefore hitting the bat a lot harder. Maybe because there's less air resistance because of the extra lacquer on it. 4 players got hit on the head in that test match. So this SG ball is a slightly different beast in that it's got a little more lacquer on it than, there's no dye like the red ball does.
Yeah, again, the message from the England team is exactly that the ball has been fizzing around. It's been zipping and seaming and bit of swing. That's why they fancy the chances. It's the week where England feel they have a chance, rightfully so. I do feel that England will need the favour, of the conditions. I think they'll need to probably win the toss, bat really well, and then get the pink ball in hand for the first time when the lights are on day 2. And that's why the pink ball test matches can bring in a little bit of fortune in conditions. You can get a little bit unlucky that you suddenly have to bat first when the lights are on and it's zipping around. That toss will be important. The team that bats first will get the conditions for the first 2 sessions, guaranteeing of sunlight. And then really it's a lottery of when you take guard for the first time. So batting first, I think, is going to be very important.
I'm going to ask you to put a captain's hat on. Now, you need to pick a playing 11. Both sides do, but you need to pick a playing 11 where there are so many unknowns. You don't know what the effect of the dew is going to be. Is it going to take your spinners out of the game in the second session? Is the ball going to zip around, swing around more than you thought? So do I need more seamers? Do I need more technically accomplished batsmen in that top order? How do you pick a side when there's so many unknowns going around?
Well, I think that's why the teams have been practicing in the daytime and also at night this week. And you've just got to be smart in your selections to understand the conditions of what's been happening in practice, what the ball's been doing in the different stages of the day. And then you've just got to come up with what you believe is the best team for this week. I'd expect Johnny Bairstow to come back in at number 3. I would think Zach Crawley potentially could open. Rory Burns, I guess that'll be a debate. Rory's a real strong character. I think they'd want him to stay in the side, but the fact that Ashwin's so good against left-handers, he may miss out at the top of the order. The bowling unit of England, you think Jimmy Anderson definitely comes back. Is Jofra Archer going to be fit? Again, he would come back in if he is. Will Stuart Broad play? Will they go 4 and 1, so 4 seamers and 1 spinner, or will they go 3 and 2? I personally feel that England will probably go 4 and 1 because of the pink ball, but I think it's a massive risk. Because if you suddenly lose the toss and you're in the field and it's doing nothing, you're going to need spinners. And Jack Lees may not be enough. It's one of those weeks, I think, as a captain, you wish you could pick 12. So I think you're always going to be airing. I probably want another seamer at certain stages of the game, and you'll probably need another spinner at other times in the game. So it's not an easy week to get selection right. England certainly will make a few changes once again. I think India will be a bit more settled. Maybe one of the spinners will miss out for maybe someone like Umesh Yadav, another quick bowler.
India, on the other hand, I think one change is definite in that Jasprit Bumrah comes back. Umesh Yadav is available, but he hasn't played a lot of cricket since coming back from Australia, so I don't know if they'll risk him going straight into a game, or they want Siraj as the third seamer. So it seems at this stage like Kuldeep might go with. There's this theory, isn't there, Michael, that when the ball gets a little discoloured at dusk, the wrist spinner is a little difficult to pick. But you can't just pick one player for every eventuality, can you?
No, that's why it's that final player in the team of both sides. I think it's going to be the real tricky one. I think both captains and management groups will know pretty much 9 or 10 players. It's just that last player. Do you go for an extra spinner? Do you go for an extra seamer?
You want to hazard a prediction, Michael? This is like having an equation with too many variables.
Well, my predictions have pretty much all been wrong over the last few months. I've got.
Okay, we'll factor in the fact that you're in a different time zone. You're many thousands of kilometers away, and you haven't seen the surface. So we'll put all those riders in.
Yeah, I think India will be too strong. I think that juggernaut I mentioned in the second test, it's a very difficult juggernaut to stop. Even though you go to a different venue and the ball changes colour, England will feel vibrant. They'll feel that they've got a real good chance this week. But also sometimes in practice, when the ball's zipping around and it's doing all sorts, it's sometimes down to the surfaces that you're practicing on that aren't quite as prepared as well as the test pitch. Now, I've got to fancy India. I hope I'm wrong. I have been wrong over the last few months in many of my predictions, and I hope I am this week. But now the Indian juggernaut's just started to, it's not even creeping along. It's going along at quite a trace from that second test match. So I have to say India are clear favourites.
It's the pink ball test. It's Ahmedabad, and it's an afternoon start, 2:30 in the afternoon. It's not yet as hot as it gets in Ahmedabad, so conditions not that difficult. We'll wait and see what happens. We will, of course, be with you on Cricbuzz Chatter at the end of every day with Michael and me to tell you what happened and what might.